The Circle stars Emma Watson, Tom Hanks, Eller Coltrane, John Boyega, Patton Oswalt, Karen Gillan, and is directed by James Ponsoldt, the guy that made this spectacular Now, probably my favorite movie of 2013, if that's when it came out. I don't know, but I adore that movie. It hit me in a deep personal place, and it just stuck with me. And in this movie, Emma Watson's character starts working at this tech company. It's like social media, but they also do tech. It's like Google mixed with Apple, mixed with Facebook, mixed with your bank and your car. Everything all in one place. They're a big company. They have a hand in everything. Everyone's a member of it, essentially. The whole world's using the Circle, and turns out there could possibly be some shady things going on, some bad things. Kind of like, yeah. And Emma Watson's rising through the ranks of this company, and it turns out there's some shady stuff. Like, she's like, wait, what is this? And there's like innovations going on. Oh, these new cameras we're gonna use. And oh, with using this technology we can gather more data by doing this and this and that, essentially adding up to the end of all privacy. And before we talk about The Circle, really, I just want to talk about how I saw the movie. Okay, so Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, a movie I adored. On IMDb, the theater I go to, usually in Lloydminster, the May Cinema, I was looking on there and it said like, hey, what's this? Like, it said they had Guardians of the Galaxy playing a full week in advance, and they did in fact have a Thursday showing. But I went there on Wednesday like, okay, my brother and my sister, we're gonna go see Guardians, it's gonna be amazing. And it turns out, yeah, like the internet made a goof and they listed it for the whole week when it was only Thursday. I drove an hour and 10 minutes out of my way to go see Guardians, and then was like, oh, it's not playing. So I drove an hour and 10 minutes out of my way, and that's like just to get there. It's the same on the way back, so that was unfortunate. And I got there, it's not playing. Okay, what are we gonna watch instead? And we came to the agreement, we'll watch The Circle. I knew nothing about it, like, okay, this could be good. And essentially, when I walked out of there, I was like, we drove an hour and 10 minutes to get here to see Guardians. It wasn't playing. Then we saw The Circle. Okay. Like, really, the only way it could have been more disappointing is if when I showed up, like, at the ticket booth, the guy's like, Guardians isn't playing. And I was like, oh. But I drove an hour and 10 minutes to get there. He's like, yeah, it's not playing. And then he shot me. Like, that's the only way it could have been worse. Yeah, let's talk about this movie. First off, it stars Emma Watson, an actress I usually like every time I see her. Like the Harry Potter movies, wonderful. Perks of Being a Wallflower, adore that movie also, and she's really good in it. Beauty and the Beast, I really enjoyed her, and she's an actress I always enjoy when I see her. And then in this, there's a couple of problems. Her character, the writing with it, makes her very uncompelling, and you can't sympathize with her or even understand why she's doing what she's doing. You're just kind of watching very confused, like, what is this leading to? Why is this happening? And then her performance reflects that, of just kind of meandering and like whatever happens happens. There's no narrative flow, there's no character arc really going on, and then it just blindsides you at a certain— wow, that was loud. Her character has nothing. She's not likable, she's not interesting. There is no arc, there is no place for her to go. She starts and then here's the story. She starts at the company, she starts working there, her friend Karen Gillan, Nebula from Guardians, shows up and she's like, I got you a job at the company, or an interview or whatever, come work here, it's gonna be awesome. And then she shows up and then she gets the job, and then it's like she's rising through the ranks, and there's a situation, the first scene in the movie where alarms started going off, and I was like, I need to get out of here now. What is happening? I looked to my brother, because we were the only people in the theater. We were the only 3 people in the theater, my sister, me, and my brother. And after the scene happened, I just looked at him like, we gotta go. Fate of the Furious is right next door. We'll go watch that. Anything else? No, we gotta get out of here. Like, really, here's the scene, essentially. Emma Watson, she's just starting setting up her company. She's like doing tech support. And then 2 people show up like, hey, how's it going? We're really over the top and in your face. And essentially what we're trying to say is, do you have your Circle profile? You need to start updating that shit 24/7. Everything you ever do all day, you should update on there. Join all these groups. Do things with people. Never be alone. Never do things by yourself. Oh, you like to go kayaking or canoeing? Do that with other people and talk about it on the Circle. Don't do things alone. Privacy? What's that? Are we fucking obvious enough? The message of the movie is being spelled out to you. We're shouting it at you, treating you like an idiot, slapping you around. And yeah, do you get it? Do you get the point of the movie? Privacy! We're gonna kill it! Throughout the progression of the scene, I just kept leaning back further and further in my seat until I was just in shock and horror at how obvious and overplayed they were doing the message of the movie of The Circle is gonna kill privacy. They want you to overindulge in every little social media thing, and everyone is updated to what you do all day, all the time. And then it keeps going like, all right, we're developing new tech at the Circle, these cameras, and the movie just kept heaping little situations where Emma Watson's there, and here's something that, like, the thing we want to do on the Circle social media section or technology we're developing, it's all leading to the death of privacy. Everything you ever do 24/7 on the internet as data to be collected for whatever reason, it never does that. It never explains it. Like, there's no mystery. There's no building thing of suspense and like what's gonna happen. Is Emma Watson gonna be okay? Like, she's getting in pretty deep. She's learning shady things. No, it's like very obvious, and everyone is essentially acknowledging, yes, we're killing privacy, and it's just everything for everyone to see constantly, and it's all good. We all agree we want this, and it's weird, and I don't get why. The movie doesn't seem to be set in like a distant future. It's not a dystopian future where like people are like, yeah, whatever, I don't need privacy. Who cares? Government spying on us anyway, right? Ha ha ha. Like, me today, I don't want everything I ever do. Privacy's nice. 20 years from now, I hope like the children of the next generation aren't like, who gives a shit? I'm taking a shit and you can watch it. I don't get it. It's not necessarily set in a dystopian future where like that generation, they've been raised from generations like the government spying on us. Oh well, no privacy. We just accept it. Like, it just seems to be set maybe slightly in the future from now, a few years. It doesn't seem that more futuristic or advanced. So it just seems odd that everyone accepts it as okay, especially since the movie's also playing it like, isn't this bad and foreboding? Privacy. They don't want privacy. They want us to see everything all the time. But then all the characters in the movie acknowledge it as a good thing. So it's very mixed up. The movie's playing it, like the way it's filmed and the way the scenes play out, it seems like this is bad. But every character's treating it like this is good. So it can't even figure out what it wants. Does it want to be damning or praising? And it just mixes up in a way where you're sitting there confused, like, okay, all the characters are idiots and I can't relate to any of them. And the movie's just hitting me over the head constantly like, isn't this bad? I know. You don't need to be so obvious about it. A little subtlety can go a long way. The movie is heavy-handed and over the top and in your face as it is, does seem to have a slight arc to where it's building to in terms of any logical story would go to this point and the character would make this decision and this will happen and the movie will end. And the movie does not. It's like, whoa, I thought maybe, the logical part of my brain thought maybe the writers would do this because it would make sense, but they don't. They do something completely different and I'm just in there confused like, what? What? Are you kidding me? Okay, it'll be very brief, but a quick spoiler alert because I'm just going to talk about it, okay. The whole movie, it's overplaying, so heavy-handed. We need privacy. They're trying to kill privacy. That's bad. We deserve some privacy. We shouldn't have everything constantly 24/7 on the internet. First off, that eats up a lot of internet space. That's bad. The Wi-Fi is going to be terribly fucking slow if Emma Watson 24/7 live streams everything she ever fucking does. That's just obnoxious. And then by the end of it, she fully embraces it. Yeah. This internet company, The Circle, this whole idea of no more privacy, film everything, it got her best friend killed amongst a lot of other horrible things, and then she embraces it like, okay, everyone should. This is a good thing. Where did that come from? No, that's not logical, that makes no sense. That's just an out of nowhere surprise to basically make the audience go, what? But no, it's infuriating. It's not like a kind of twist where you're like, ooh, you didn't see that coming, but it was sort of set up in a way where it isn't that dark and creepy and twisted, and it's just like, yeah, the corruption of a character we like. No, she's a character that had nothing going on. You couldn't even really follow her or get invested because every decision she made had no logic to it. It just kind of contrived, and then the end of it, it's more of the same. This movie could have possibly been good. There's seedlings where like this, as a dark, very subtle satire, could have been really clever, but they overplay it, they make it so obvious and obnoxious. That's the biggest word for this movie, is obnoxious. So many actors are overplaying it, and it's just, God. We got Tom Hanks in here as basically a Steve Jobs type, and he's the only real good part of the movie. He's barely in it, but he is good. You really, even if he is the sort of villainous guy in charge of the company, and he's killing privacy, you like him because he's at least interesting, and his character, when he's making decisions, as mysterious and enigmatic as he is, where you still don't even know much about him or why he's doing things, you still kind of like him, of all people. Emma Watson, I could never grab onto her and follow her on a journey because it was so, like, just contrived to where the plot wanted to go because the writers didn't give a shit. Patton Oswalt in this movie, a good actor at times, a funny guy, like, again, over-directed because he's overplaying it. It's just very obvious, like, he's evil. You just look at him and it's like, he's obviously evil. Karen Gillan in the movie made essentially no impact. Neither did John Boyega. They're both barely in the movie and have no impact where I don't have opinions on their performances because it's just like, what did they do? There's like subplots where it's like, oh, is this where the story comes in? And this is gonna be where things go. Oh wait, no, that character drops out of the movie and never does anything and that plot point is abandoned in exchange for other subplots and bullshit that go nowhere and leads to a climax that has no logic or anything to it. Ah, fuck! Movie's badly directed. So many actors are overplaying it, so many of them wasted, given nothing. Emma Watson, a bad main character to follow. Terrible. So it's poorly directed from a guy who made a movie I really love. That's disappointing. And then the writing, horrible. The cinematography, decent. It's a good looking movie. Most of the time it's competently made in terms of filming. Decent. And then I wouldn't even say it's inspired bits, but when people are using the social media and you see like comments and such, like on the screen bombarding you, I get it for what they're saying, where it's like the internet's so in your face and here it is, it's everywhere. It like distracts you as a viewer of the movie. In a way that kind of works, but like they do that in other movies. You can watch House of Cards and when people are texting it shows up on the screen. Like it's in other stuff, but the way they do it in the movie, it's inspired. Maybe. I would give compliments if I could, but there's not many. Tom Hanks is okay, and at times the movie looks pretty, but it's over the top, in your face, unsubtle, overbearing, obvious, obnoxious. I hated The Circle, actually. I know there will be worse things this year that come out, but like the only positive I came out of this movie, I was like, at least I have one less movie to see for when I need to make my top 10 worst of the year, because this is on there. The movie can't tell a cohesive story in a way that's compelling or interesting. It's not thrilling, you're not invested, you just kind of passively watch, waiting for it to end. And it was horrible, awful. I hated The Circle, hated it. I would give The Circle an F. It's abysmal, it's miserable, it's a waste of so many talented people doing such shitty work. I'm really curious actually why so many people would like sign on and say, yes, I want to do this movie. Did it play better on paper? On paper, did it seem more subtle and like, ooh, this is dark and creepy, it holds a black mirror up to society? Maybe it played well in the script and then it's just like too obvious when they actually adapted it and filmed it, and then it was like, duh. So if you've unfortunately seen The Circle, comment below, tell me your thoughts on it. And by the way, do you like this shirt? I made it. If you'd like to buy it, first off, it's really comfy, feels great. I made it on Redbubble and TeePublic. I'm going to put the links down below. If you want to support me and buy a shirt, that'd be greatly appreciated. One evil company for another. The Circle, a big evil company. Skynet, same thing. I really like the shirt. If you want to buy one, check it out. Like I said, the link's down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.